have you ever gone through any struggles or anything like that?
I will say this. One thing someone had told me a while ago, people have told me that if I was a man, I would be much further in ministry. And the sad part is, it really is true
Yeah.
because there are still certain doors that are only open to men. You see some conferences, it's not even a men's conference, it's just a conference. The whole lineup is male. Or you have some, even some platforms where the whole lineup is all white men. So there's no people of color and there's no women. And so I find, that. I don't want to say it's difficult or it's really a struggle because I know some of the things some women go through, it's because of the people they're around. Because the way I carry myself, there are certain things that just have not happened to me and probably will not, because I'm a no nonsense person, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but as a woman, I do feel, especially with single women, I think that it can be harder, especially for single women. I think when you're married as a woman, you get treated a little bit different. I could be wrong, but that's just my perspective as going from unmarried to married. This is just my experience. And so I feel that married women get treated different. And, even in the way they're handled and in the way they're treated, because if somebody come at me wrong, my husband is going to immediately, like, be like, who, when, where, what, and why. Like, but I think sometimes single women, when they don't have a strong male covering, or if they don't have a husband or someone in place that really has their back, I definitely think they can be kind of kicked around and misused and mishandled if they're not careful. But for me, my experience as a woman in ministry, for the most part, um, I don't think a lot of my struggles have been because I'm a woman. It's been because of a lot of other things. There's a lot of politics in the church world. There's a lot of cliques. If this person don't like you, you can't be in our club. And I have never, you can ask anybody that has known me for a period of time. I've never been with the crowd. I never follow the crowd. I'm never in the crew. I've always been kind of one that just kind of walked on my own and always did my own thing, in the sense of I don't have to do what everybody is doing. I don't have to conform. I don't have to change to fit in a club or a clique. And so I do feel time, like sometimes, especially when it comes with a lot of womeny stuff
Yeah.
and, these women cliques and stuff like that, I do think it could be kind of cliquish sometimes. And I do think sometimes it is like a, we're in, you're out, you can't get in type thing.
Yeah.
But for me, overall, I really haven't had those experiences. I saw what Beth Moore was going through when you had pastors like openly attacking her, saying that because she's a woman, she can't preach. And have people saying, well, they'll use, the scripture where Apostle Paul was talking to the church in Corinth, and he was saying that, women should be silent in the church, their heads should be covered, and different things like that, and not realize that that scripture has to be handled from the right context
Yeah.
and from the right historical perspective, to understand what was happening in the church and why the Apostle Paul was dressing them and why he was trying to set some order and bring some order in the church, because of some of the things that were happening in the
Yeah.
church in regards to the women. And then these same people will ignore the scripture that says that in the spirit there's no longer what, Jew nor Greek, male nor female. Now they'll skip right past that. They'll skip right past Deborah, the prophetess and judge. They'll skip right past Hannah and Anna and all these different women in the Bible, and just make it seem like those are the exception to the rule and not the norm. Well, God used them because there wasn't a man around. There's no scripture that said that God used them because they weren't a man. His purpose and plan for women is just as preordained as it is for men. And so I do think there can be some negative attitudes and some biases and dummying down when it comes to women in ministry. But for the most part, I've never had to experience that because I have a strong father, a strong husband, and other brothers and men in the faith that will go to bat for me, in a heartbeat. And so I've never really had a lot of those negative experiences as a woman in ministry. But I do know that there are certain doors that have not opened to me and may never open to me because I am a woman.
Wow.